Hey guys, welcome back to Feather's Charm. I'm Feather and welcome to this episode of the My Bullet Journal Journey series. Today I'll be creating the first pages of this new bullet journal. Now before I begin, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share and follow me here on YouTube, on my social media channels, on my website and on Patreon. Your donations really do help me make more content like this. Also, I just want to say I am truly sorry for not uploading any new videos over the past few months. Work had been incredibly busy and a couple of my other projects had been taking off, and I had been concentrating on that more than my YouTube channel and my website, so they had to suffer a little bit because of this new project. But I'm here, I'm ready to start over again, and hopefully you guys are going to be here with me for the rest of the ride. So let's start with the journal I'm using, which is again from the Citrus Book Bindery collections, which I'll link in the description box below, and I absolutely love their journal, so I highly recommend these books if you want to get started with, you know, mixed media kind of bullet journaling. Now, I'm starting off this year with the Arteza watercolor paints, which again I absolutely love, and I'll link in the description below. The paints I'm using this time around is the cobalt blue, the sky blue, the lavender purple and the blush pink paints. These are probably one of the prettiest colors for this bullet journal theme, or at least the pages for this episode. Now the brush that I am using is by Royal & Langnickel. It is the round 16, and I actually bought these brushes a while back. So one of my first jobs was in a stationery company, and they had these brushes on sale or in the store throughout the whole year, and I'd been meaning to buy it, and before I left I did. So as you see here, I had wet the paper before I put down any paints, just so that the paint itself could spread a little more, because I wanted to do this whole sort of cosmic kind of sky vibe theme, you know, the sun, moon and stars theme, the zodiac kind of theme, because it is in line with the actual bullet journal itself. As you saw, the cover of the book is a sort of zodiac, sun, moon and stars theme, and I wanted to keep that going just a little bit here in the bullet journal. So now, as you can see here, I am using my handy dandy Uniball Unipin fine liner. This one is in 0.8, and I'm just creating the numbers for the year 2025. It was pretty difficult for me to mark out where the previous sketch was, because apparently I didn't think to mark it out a little more clearly. Once the paint is put down, it seems the dots, the previous sketch in pencil, is not visible. So I had to sort of estimate where I thought the previous markings were. Now, as you can see, I had used an old sketchbook to reactivate the ink for the pen. Number one, it was because I was using an old pen and I had to switch to a new one. And number two, it didn't quite put down as much ink as I had hoped because of the paint. Whether it was because it's an old pen or because it doesn't like paint, that was what I was struggling with here. But nevertheless, it's put down fine now, and I've carried on with the numbers here. As you can see, it's getting along just fine. I think a couple of times here and there I had to move away and reactivate the ink every now and then. Now Now I'm moving on with the Arteza acrylic markers, the metallic acrylic markers, which you've seen me use at the beginning of the year in 2024. And the ones that I'm using now are the A700 Gold and the A703 Bubblegum Pink. I absolutely love this color combination on this watercolor spread because it just looks so pretty and magical and pink. I don't know what it is, I just love it. So I used the gold to create the moon image. I was thinking about just making it a black outline with gold leaves going through it, but I thought it's much better if the moon is different from the numbers for the year. So I chose to use the gold instead, and I used the bubblegum pink to create the leaves that sort of go through the moon and go around it, just to make it a little more natural, I think. I was inspired by a post on Pinterest, and this is what kind of gave way to this. So yeah, as you can see, the inspiration sort of took off and it created this kind of spread. And because I'm using the gold and because it is the start of the year, it's sort of inspired by the Art Deco style that I did back in January last year. And it's bringing that theme into this spread, which kind of carries on into January, but we'll get to that when January comes out. So I decided to again draw inspiration from a different Pinterest post, and I wanted to create these sort of hanging jewelry chandelier kind of diamonds, I guess. But I absolutely love this. It makes it sort of dainty and quaint and pretty. It makes this spread really pretty. That's all I can really say. I go back again in the gold to highlight the diamonds and some of the pieces of quote-unquote jewelry, and create these little stars and dots around the page. It would have been nice if it was white, but I didn't have my white gel pen at the time, and they'd only just come in after I'd finished this page. But nevertheless, it's still very beautiful. And here, at the start of the journal, I've put down a quote for myself, because why not? And this one is actually a Shakespearean quote. It starts off as, "We are such stuff as dreams are made on." If you know the quote, towards the very end of this journal, I will finish it completely. I'll show you what I mean once we get to December. Now here, as you can see, I am cutting out with a utility knife half of the page. I wanted to do this because last year I did something similar before I started the January series 2024, and I loved the idea of doing it again, so I wanted to do it again this year round. It's not quite as neat and tidy as before, but nevertheless it is still very pretty and it is still very interesting to look at. Now I am moving on to the calendar page, and again I'm using the watercolors here. So I'm wetting the page and then putting down the color, and then drying it, with a hairdryer. As you can see here, I am showing off my uni pin pens, which I didn't do for the first page, but here we go. So for this spread, I am using the 0.1, the 0.3, the 0.5 and the 0.8 pens, which are pretty much my standard go-tos. So if you want to find these pens, they're usually in a pack of like 6, 8, 10, 12, I can't quite remember, but these are the numbers of the nib. Basically, it tells you how thin, how small, how thick they will be. So as you can see, I've started using the acrylic marker again to create these small stars and dots. I also used one of the, I think it was the 0.3 pens to create these little dots and stars around the months and the calendar, purely because I had made a mistake under the March month, where I started the calendar a little bit too far back, so I pushed it forward and used the stars and dots to kind of cover up that mistake. Again, I'm using the bubblegum pink metallic pen to create these leaves to add a little bit more daintiness, I guess I want to say, to the page. Again, I create these sort of borders with the dots and the stars, just to give this page a little extra decor, a little extra ornament, because it didn't look quite right when it was just the watercolor page, and I liked the idea of having that sort of little nod to the Art Deco movement that I kind of want to keep for January. Now you can see I'm adding these stickers to the page. These are again some of the stickers I had bought a while back on Etsy. I think I have the link still on one of my old videos, which I'll link here. There are a few other new ones that I had bought, which again I will link if I find the link. But yes, if you go down to my description box, you'll find all the links there. And so I'm just finishing off this page with some stars, some dots, some planets, some leaves, and I think I carry the leaves theme throughout January as well, which I think will be, instead of the roses this time, will be the theme for this year. So it'll be the stars, the dots, the leaves, and maybe a few other watercolors or doodles, floral doodles, to this journal. As you can see, I'm now on the last page of this spread, and this one is my yearly goals. So instead of a future log, I have a yearly goals or resolutions page. And the affirmation beneath the title says, "Every new year yields new opportunities and chances, and it is by our own will which one we choose." So it's with that in mind that I kind of wanted to create this resolutions page, because I have a lot of goals that I want to achieve, and a lot of them, yes, is achievable, but only if I put the work into it, and I sort of want to keep myself in check and not be too ambitious. So by listing out what's important for me in this year and in this moment, I can achieve what I want to achieve this year. So there are so many things that I want to achieve. There are so many opportunities and chances that I want to take, but I need to know what my limitations are and what my sort of plan for the year is. So that's why I'm only choosing a few. If I can manage those few, then I might be a little more ambitious and take a little more on. But for now, I am only setting myself 3 goals for the year, and I think that's a good number for me to do, because again, I can be a bit too ambitious, and somewhere halfway through the year I might fall back and decide, now I'm not going to do it anymore. So that's why I'm keeping it to 3 resolutions, 3 goals. And I've split the page in 2, so I have the 3 goals at the top with some space for sub goals, if you'd like, just to keep me in check. And the bottom part of the page is where I will write down what my end of year notes are. So it keeps me in check, and it reminds me to come back at the end of the year so I don't abandon this journal like I did last year. Now to finish off, I am just creating these little black stars and dots, just to make the page a little more interesting, because it seemed a little bit too metallic and too dainty, so it needed a little bit of a grounded color in the black. But there we go. This is the final look of the first pages of my bullet journal. I'm actually pretty proud of it, and I like it because there's not too much for me to do at the start of a bullet journal, and I didn't want to have a future log that I had to keep going back to if I didn't want to. And it just kept the first pages clean for me, because sometimes I forget I have these trackers at the front of the book, and this works so much better for me. So there you have it, the first pages of my bullet journal 2025. Like I said, all the descriptions and the links are down below, and if you would like to, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and follow me here on YouTube, on my social media channels, on my website, and on Patreon, to keep up to date with what I've been doing with my crafts, with crochet, with the bullet journal, and with everything else that I do. I'll try to be better when it comes to uploading my videos and blog articles. And if you would like to be a part of the content creation, please don't forget to leave your comments and your feedback in the comment section below, and I'll do everything I can to make the content that you guys love. And as always, be kind, be creative, and be unique. I'll see you later. Feather out.